Hi guys, welcome back on my channel. I'm Charlotte and I'm super happy you're joining me again today for a new episode of Taiwan in the Global News. The article I want to talk about today is one that was published on the 28th of April in a newspaper called The Standaard. It's a very famous newspaper here in Belgium and my family has a subscription to it, so we get it almost every day. And the article, it's a little bit funny because the title doesn't really sound like it's related to Taiwan. The title is New Zealand Defeats the Virus, but if you look at the article more closely, Taiwan is actually mentioned many times, and there's even a little box here, I don't know if you can see that, where there's a subtitle that says what Belgium didn't or what Belgium failed to learn from Taiwan. So I'm gonna be translating a part of the article for you. It's a very long article, so I'll just leave out the parts that are not about Taiwan and I'll focus a little bit more on the interesting stuff, but I hope you enjoy. Okay, are you ready and comfortable? Let's go ahead and read this. New Zealand defeats the virus. New Zealand learned from Taiwan and found the perfect balance between science, strictness, and didactic talent to handle the corona crisis. According to New Zealand's epidemiologists, the coronavirus has a reproduction of less than 0.5 in their country. One infected person transmits the virus to less than half another person. This means that the disease is not transferred in the community. Only one New Zealander remains under intensive care and there are 270 known infected. This made the country lower their emergency level from 4 to 3. So now comes the little part where they say what New Zealand learned from Taiwan and what Belgium failed to learn. So first of all, in New Zealand, all the returning citizens are being placed in a 14-day-long quarantine in a hotel. As I know, I think in Taiwan, they don't put people in a hotel, but just in a house quarantine. But they have some apps to see if people are really staying at home. And so the second point is, as early as the 21st of March, there was a clear and transparent lockdown plan with 4 different phases. Here in Belgium, we also have a lockdown, but I don't think everything was very transparent because I think the government was a little bit scared to create panic, so they were very slow to release all the information and many things were so unclear, you know. First, they told us don't use masks because masks are completely useless. Go and give all your masks to the medical health staff because they really need it. So I even know that like some people who were using a mask and they were going to the hospital or a doctor, the hospital staff were kind of angry at them, like you shouldn't be using masks, they should only be for medical staff. So they were telling people that it was completely useless to use the masks. But then later on, suddenly when we had enough masks, because before that we always have a shortage, but after masks started coming in and we had enough, suddenly they changed their words and they were saying, oh, everybody should use a mask. It's very useful to stop this pandemic. So you should all buy masks and it might be even mandatory in some places. So yeah, I think it's just very unclear. The government is kind of changing their opinions all the time. I guess they're also just learning along the way, but sometimes I think they're not super transparent, just in my opinion. And then the third point here is contact tracers with high-quality tests are set in place before the end of the lockdown. That's also something I saw that in Taiwan they were doing really well. If someone is in a house quarantine, they are monitored and via an app on their phone, somebody can check on them all the time, like their temperature, they can check if they're at home, and it's just very well monitored. But here in Belgium, the first time the government was talking about an app like that, everybody started freaking out, like, what about my privacy? We can't do that, that's sensitive information. So yeah, we definitely didn't handle it the same way as Taiwan and New Zealand. And then the article also states that New Zealand might have a few advantages that we do not have in Belgium, and that is that the density of their cities is much lower than in Belgium, meaning that we have more people living closer to one another. They have only 5 million people. I think in Belgium we're, 11 million maybe? With half of those people being under the age of 38. So I guess they have a pretty, on the young side, population. And then another little thing that I saw somewhere in the article was that they might have an advantage because they're an island, but then later in the article they said it's not really, maybe that's not true, maybe that's not an advantage because we also closed our borders. It's not like people are coming in, and even New Zealand and Taiwan, they also have products and things coming into the country, so it shouldn't be a huge difference when it comes to island or not an island if our country is closing the borders anyway. So I think I covered the most important parts of the article, or at least the parts related to Taiwan. Oh, sorry I'm looking red by the way today. It's super hot and I don't know why I decided to wear a sweater. I'm also drinking hot tea, that's not helping. Anyway, when we look at this article and when we see that New Zealand kind of copied Taiwan's strategy, and we already know that Taiwan had a lot of success with handling the corona crisis, and now New Zealand also has success while just copying them, it really makes you wonder, what if Taiwan had been able to share their information with the World Health Organization? Wouldn't it have meant that many deaths could have been prevented if other countries had this successful strategy, you know? So I don't know what to think about it. Of course, politics are very delicate, but I think it's crazy that such important information was stopped from being brought in to the World Health Organization just because of some political games that are being played. So yeah, I wonder what's your opinion on the matter, and I'm gonna go ahead and read some of your comments on the last video. The first comment I see here is, "Thank you for sharing, Miss Charlotte. I also hope that the world can resume normal life as soon as possible. I wish you health and happiness." Thank you so much. I wish the same to you. And by the way, I have noticed you commenting on most of my videos, so thank you so much. Calvin Wang writes, "Minister Maggie de Block can learn from Taiwan. Taiwan is a model." First of all, are you Belgian? Because how do you know our Minister of Health, Maggie de Block? That's impressive. But yeah, Maggie de Block is under a lot of fire right now because, of course, in her position, things are not going very right in the country, and she's the first in line who's targeted by all the angry people. I think, honestly, she probably really did the best she could, so I think anyone who would have been in her position right now would have been under fire. But of course, I wish Belgium could have learned from Taiwan earlier. Someone writes, "Today is Labor holiday here. It's really nice to hear your translation for Taiwan news on Belgium TV. Stay together stronger." Terry Rowe writes, "I have lived in Taiwan since late 2004. I love Taiwan." Wow, that's a long time. That's a big part of your life. You lived in Taiwan. Wow, I'm really jealous. You must really be living a happy life there. So that was it for today's episode of Taiwan in the Global News. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for sticking around until the end. That's pretty rare, so you're one of my channel's elite. Thank you so much, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you very soon in the next video. Bye!